How is that? Anyway, 37:07 is what it says I have record time for. So, who are you? Who are you? What is your identity? What does that mean? What is that? I know in my whole process of doing this, trying to figure things out, we learn so many things about ourselves that we're never taught. And we're trying to figure out these things that are misprogrammed or programmed in the wrong way. Trying to right these wrongs that have been done to us by also sifting through the lies to figure out what the lies are and what is truth. And then come to the realization that none of it really matters, because in the end of what matters is you and where you're at, and that the rest of this stuff is a distraction, and how we give to it is how it plays out. And right now it's not playing out in our favor at all, because we're allowing that to happen. But through this, as we all do as we grow older, our identity, who we see ourselves as changes. I was just saying earlier today, like when I was 19, the way I viewed the world and the way I view the world now are two different worlds. And there'll be people that'll sit here and tell me, oh, it's because of the traumatic situations that you've been through is what shifted your mind patterns to where you're at now. Whatever. I've heard all those things. But see, that may be true in some cases, but what the difference is I've not allowed my environment to destroy my morality. I've not let my environment, all the bad shit in my life, change who the core of me is, which is a loving, caring person who, through my example of what I was given as Jesus, is to try to project that same energy, being forgiving, turning the other cheek, but not to the point of you taking advantage of me. Different things of this different aspect. And then you find out how much that's corrupted, and then some of us lose our faith in that. Then we lose our identity and that we were holding on to that. And pretty soon, all these different identities that we have put on, they don't stick because they're not truth. And you start weeding out in this process, in my process, and what I feel is the process everybody should go through, is that you find that when you hold things to their truth, like, because that's what this is, the truth movement, right? So we have to hold everything to truth, regardless of what we want to believe or have put faith into. Truth has to be number one. If it doesn't pass the truth test in all capacities, then you have to start to question. And when you start to question in truth, and if it doesn't hold the smell test, you have to start to let that go. You have to start moving forward off of that stone that you've placed your feet and set your concrete so you don't move no more. You have to set that aside and water down that concrete. And through your questioning, and it's okay to question, you don't have to have blind faith for everything. And for all of us that were brainwashed with that shit, that is not the way God intended us to do. We are not supposed to blindly follow whoever and whatever just because they sound like they know what the fuck they're talking about. Half these people that we follow they ain't got a clue as to how this world should be and how it works. And seriously, do you think a government that gives you $250, $350, oh, if we're lucky, $1,500 stimulus check back. That's our own money that we gave to them in the first place. That's our money. Our tax-paying dollars went to them. Without that, they have nothing. So, you think that a government that just hands you back pennies after taking billions from us is a government that cares about any of us? And if you do, then this is not a video for you. This is not something for you because you don't understand any of it. You're a sheep to the system of things, and that's just what it is. That's just one example of things. But what I'm saying is that we lose our identities that we hold on to, these different identities that we want to grasp onto and label ourselves as. And pretty soon you're left with standing there naked with no identity. Because you've taken from all these other identities and not worked on your own self to figure out who your own identity is, who you are, what you are intended to do, what is your mission here, what is your goal, what is your purpose. And I think that's different from every single one of us. But I think our main goal, I think for everybody, is for this place, for us all to live in peace and harmony in some way, shape, or fashion. And it's been done before, because look at the great works. And if not by us, then by somebody. And so that takes harmony. For these great works that have happened in this earth, that takes harmony amongst the people for that to happen. Look at us now. We're just devolving. Everything that we build now and continue to, technology is making life great. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's degrading life. It's just degrading it to its most disgusting level. And when they've tricked us into believing that all these new innovations and this and that. No, if we would have just kept building stuff great, like we used to, that lasted 60, 80 years, you don't need that. But see, then that gets rid of throwaway society. That gets rid of this big business, because then they can't keep producing, and they don't want to rely just on parts, which then that keeps the businesses in smaller hands, which in turn helps the people out more. But anyway, that's a whole nother economic level of things, and that gets off my topic. That's part of our identities of things, and these are things so we have to figure these things out. We have to figure out who we are after we've stripped away all these lies. That's the question I'm asking myself today. Who am I? And all these different thoughts are running through my head is that shape what I thought were me, that I thought was me, that I thought was what made up me. And then these all have been stripped away, and that it isn't me. These are things that have been placed upon me falsely, not naturally. And that's why they don't hold the smell test. And that's our duty as we move through this, is not to set our feet in the concrete and stay in one place and say, oh, yep, I got it figured out. Because I promise you, if you are looking at it truthfully, if you're wanting truth out of everything you seek, all these different rabbit holes eventually will just lead you back to the same place. It leads you back to you and this, and who you have to. This is what has to be fixed. This isn't operating as optimal performance, because there's so much shit that's been applied to us and rewired and just hypnotized into us and brainwashed into us to think that this and that's okay. And it's little things, and it's just seeds are planted every day. Every day you have that TV on, there's seeds planted. Every day you buy into or listen to, unless I heard it today, you have got this armor of God, you have to put that on, or you have to put your protection on, whatever word you use. When you go into messing with this stuff, when you go into these headlines, when you go into these things, you need to be asking for protection against these things, or yourself, to heighten your awareness and your auras and your energies, so you're not tricked by the words that they use. It's wordplay, and when those words click in your head, then that's how they get their foothold in. It's just little tricks, wordplay, speech. Anyway, who are you? Who am I? I don't know who that is exactly. I know foundations. I know which direction I'm going. and it's up. I know that tomorrow's not guaranteed, so today is the best day to get started. This minute's the best minute to get started. This second, trying to figure these things out and trying to be a better person. And those things you don't like about yourself, it's just a matter of changing it now. And if you want to truly see it, if you want truth and you want to see those things that you really don't like about yourself, just ask yourself to show you, and it will. The cosmos, your own self, your own subconscious will show you those things. But you asked for it. Remember that. You asked to be shown the truths of yourself. And it may not come from you, it may come from somebody else telling you these truths. Don't rebuke it, don't snub a nose at it, don't get an ego about it. Listen to the words. If you ask for this, if you ask for a better you, and the things that come at you aren't pleasant, too bad. Because it doesn't know that. You asked for that. You asked, you gave it permission. It's how all this works. That's why they trick us with the things they do, because it gives them permission. I'm almost to where I need to go. I'm going to pause this. If not, it's peace, love, and bubblegum, and I'll be back. I have to sign a job, so I'm going to try to remember where I was at. I'm going to pause this and see if this works. It hasn't yet, but we're going to see. All right, if not, I love y'all, and I will post this later. Bye-bye. Be back. So, I love it when life is good. I love it when life is bad. I don't love the bad, but I love the bad that does happen in the end, because it usually turns out to be something good, one way or another. Or at least there's something in there that is good. Let's put it that way. Maybe hard to see, hard to find, but I'll bet there's something somewhere in there, out of every bad, that there's some good in there somewhere. And it may take you years to figure out what it is, but it's there somewhere. So anyway, excuse me. Signed another job, doing a hanging heater. And if you don't know what that is, it's a heater that hangs in the corner of a garage. A customer got one that was gently used, and very gently used. Actually, it looked like it just came out of a box, but it's an older one. And anyway, it doesn't have the LP kit with it, so it took me a minute to find the LP kit for it, to change it over to liquid petroleum. I don't know. I think that's what it is. Anyway, switch it over to LP, and found that, and then there's quite a bit for the flue material and the gas material. So they didn't know if they wanted to do that. Then they thought, well, maybe a new one. And then, so I priced them a new one. The new one was too much for them, so we're going to hook up the old one. So anyway, that's for Monday, Tuesday, maybe. Tuesday for sure. Monday, maybe. So every little bit helps. It's not a little bit. I mean, I charge. You get charged for your labor. I mean, it's not too bad. $5.50 for the install, so for my labor and my know-how, and then, well, whatever I make on parts, which isn't much. Parts pays for my headaches. Anyway, so life is good there. I have another good customer that just called me yesterday who needs some more work done, so that's good. Anyway, part of my identity is fixing things. My business is named Fix It Fox. So, I've always been mechanically inclined. I can always take things apart, put it back together, fix things, make new things. That's a part of who I am. That's part of who I have become, I say. I've always been mechanically inclined, and so I've always been into fixing things, and so I just took that into my own hands, and now I have my own business. I mainly fix furnaces, and air conditioners. That's my skilled trade, you could say, but I'm confident enough to say that I could probably fix just about anything mechanical. Give me a minute. I have to figure out sequence of operations, don't get me wrong, but that's the way it is with most mechanical things. If you know the sequence of operations, you can pretty much figure out anything. And most things have about the same type of sequences. It's just a matter of having the imagination to make the connection between the two for the understanding of what it is that you're trying to work on. But everybody deciphers things different than each other. It's whatever works for each person. So, you know, and that's the key of what I'm talking about. Is that's a part of the who are you? You know, what works for you? What doesn't work for you? What, you know, there's all kinds of schools of thought on how you're supposed to think and decipher things. And if you do this trick, this will work. If that trick, this will work. But here's the thing that we all forget, I believe, is that we're all different. We are not the same. We are the same, but we are not the same. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? I hope so, because it's very simple wordage. We are all the same, but we are all different. We're like the sands on a beach. It's the best description I've ever heard in my life. Because when you look at the broad spectrum from 30,000 feet, it looks like just a beach. And when you look closer, you see that every little piece of that sand is different. That is us. So just because this dude over here says this works for me and this worked for this person and this, and you have testimony after testimony, and guess what? Those people decided that that guy, what he had to say does work for them. If there's any doubt in your mind, if there's any seed, any piece of your subconscious mind anywhere in you that doesn't have peace with whatever that person's spewing at you, it's probably not going to work. And the next thing is did you apply it per se how that guy did versus applying it how it would work for you? Because see, just because the way that guy did it worked for him doesn't mean you can't tweak it so it works for you. Or that it will even work for you. You don't even know if it will. Especially if there's any doubt in your mind that it won't. But if you wholeheartedly take it in, just like anything, if you take it in, then you will. It's like the placebo effect. You believe it works, it will work. If you don't, it won't. It's pretty simple. We are very powerful creatures and we don't even know it. We're beaten down so much and been told that we're not this and that and the other. We're worthless and junk DNA, and we're, you know, have all these problems in our DNA, and all these things are passed down through our DNA. And yeah, okay, well, here's the thing they don't tell you that I believe is to be true, is that yes, it may be passed down in our DNA, but it's not like it's a genetically passed down mutation of the DNA. What I believe is happening is it's stored in the memory of the DNA, and that's one of the reasons why we remember it, part of our memory. They don't tell you what DNA is stored in, they don't tell you where it's stored at. It could be the DNA of your brain, it could be in your brain, it could be just one of the ways they figured out how to tap into your memories through your DNA. Because if you haven't done any of the research or haven't looked into any of it, there is ample research that shows that our bodies are capable of holding more data and more information than any supercomputer ever could. And it already does. It already does hold all this information. It already does hold all the more information than any supercomputer ever could. We've just been so dumbified by our own selves through generations of this crap that we don't even realize it. That junk DNA isn't junk DNA. It's DNA that's waiting to be activated by you, me, however it is. I don't know how we do it exactly, but it's not junk. That portion of our brain that is dormant or doesn't work, that we don't use, whatever the crap they say, if it doesn't, then there's a reason for it. We're not at that level of energy to be able to operate that. It's like life support. We live in the biggest life supporting unit there is, on one of the most complex ones. Not biggest as in like size wise, but in complexity of things. Same as the other animals, but we're a little bit more because of the way we can think about things and the way we can do certain things that animals can't do. So it sets us apart from them. But, you know, if you want to sit here and continuously put restrictions upon yourself day after day after day after day, then you're never going to find who you are. You're never going to reach your potential. You're never going to unlock the doors of these new things that are of us. They want us to shackle ourselves with their ideology and their bullshit, so we never seek out who we truly are. It's not curiosity, it's a yearning to know the root of who we are. When we know who we are, then we can become fully who we are. One of the biggest ways we do that is we start realizing that we're the same, but we're not the same. We can agree to disagree. We can agree and not agree. We can agree and agree. Doesn't matter. It doesn't change who we are and what we are together. And it doesn't change our main goal, which is finding peace and harmony and coming to a higher self. It's not meant to be alone. I don't believe you're meant to just go off to some fucking... We're supposed to be doing this together. You're supposed to hide in the mountains and separate yourself from society and everything around you. Yeah, that seems like the best way to reach a higher level of things, and it probably is. But it's not going to be the full potential of what it could be. Because I think that's why we're all interlaced, we're all interconnected, is because it's this togetherness, the true togetherness is what brings us to that next level. Why do you think they try to drive us apart, put wedges between all of us all the time? Come together. That song right now. Not over me, not over them, over your own self. And it's not just for us, it's for the children, it's for the next generations, it's for the generations after the generations. Because the examples of goodness and kindness and caring and stuff in the proper way, and morals and values and the things that are foundational are just eroding away piece by piece. Truths are being replaced with lies and being upheld by fools. Anyway, I think I'm all ranted out at 22 minutes. I'm out of recording time anyway, so that's all I got for now. Peace, love, and a bunch of bubble gum. And I needed to go to the bank, and I was talking, and I didn't go to the bank. Anyway, all right, y'all. I'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.